Hello, my friends. Once again, welcome to the another episode of Westworld Post. First of all, let me apologize because I took a little bit of time to come up with my next video. Today, the guest I have with me, he's a very prominent consultant here in Canada, especially in British Columbia. Without wasting any more time, I would ask Mr. Rakesh to introduce himself, and then we will ask the questions which are related to our real estate sector here in Canada. Over to you, Mr. Rakesh.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Mr. Natish, for inviting me in this session.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yeah. So my name is Rakesh Julka. I was born and brought up in Punjab, which is one of the famous state in India, everyone knows. And I had my master's in commerce from Guru Nanak Dev University campus and specialization in business and finance. I have many years of experience in education industry and worked as a education and marketing coordinator in my home country.
Very nice.
And I belong to business family.
Okay.
And
Amazing.
my father is a property dealer in India.
Okay.
And I remember he bought a first property in Amritsar when he was just 14-year-old.
Oh, amazing. 14, just 14-year-old.
Yes, just 14 years old. And it's like his way of working and habits of making investments in real estate motivated me to join his business.
Absolutely.
So after completing my university educations at the age of 22, I started helping my father in his property business, named Julka Property Dealer, situated in Jalandhar.
Oh, wow.
And working with him, I learned a number of things, like from buying land or a plot for a residential or commercial purposes, then building a residential house and commercial units, eventually selling for profit, right?
Okay.
And not only this, but also I acquired knowledge how to get a building permit from the municipal corporation and hiring a consultation team and completing building project in time and helping people in buying, selling, and investing in real estate.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I moved to Canada around 5 years ago, and with my family. Yeah.
Right.
And I have been living here in Surrey since then.
Oh, wow. So superb. Let's come on to the next question, which is really important for our home buyers, especially first home buyers here in Canada. So what are some of the most important factors to consider when buying a home in Canada, especially first time, as I said, first time buyers? What are your suggestions?
Yeah, so every buyer should have a basic knowledge before buying dream home.
Right.
So what's the reason behind it? Because buying a home is one of the biggest purchases of your life.
Absolutely.
And you would be spending your hard-earned money and will make a monthly payment for a very long period of time.
Right. Absolutely.
So what are the number of things that a home buyer should know? Now, first of all, that do appropriate research.
Agree.
So research means which will save your time and money, definitely. And prepare a list of features that you're looking for in your dream home.
Right. Okay.
And but in this case, like the buyer should be a little bit flexible and ready to compromise for minor things at the time of selecting location and area.
Oh, that is very interesting. I wasn't aware about it.
Yeah, because sometimes the buyers are stubborn. Like, I want some property at only this particular location.
Right.
So sometimes that due to the shortage of inventory or a property, that property is not available, then the buyer will blame the realtor that you are not able to find some properties, right?
Right. Correct.
So always look for communities, transportation nearby, and other convenient services.
So you mean to say the basic amenities and the proximities we need to observe around that particular location, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. And also check for the affordability.
Exactly, affordability.
Yeah. And this is the second most important thing that they should consider.
Right.
And it means don't waste your valuable time. And how much you can afford monthly, and it means what is your purchasing power.
Absolutely. That actually,
And
sorry, please finish.
yes, right. So as you as the client, you have other expenses apart from the mortgage, like insurance, startup or maintenance charges, property taxes, and other personal day-to-day expenses, right? So
Correct.
a lot of expenses are there, and
Right.
you should know whether you are qualified to buy a house,
Yeah.
right? That you are looking for.
Mhm.
So in this case, what you need to do, a buyer should do, better to ask your mortgage broker first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To know how much you can afford, right?
I agree.
And sign and ask your realtor to prepare a reasonable offer
Mhm.
within the amount you can afford.
Correct. Yeah.
And it is also advisable that a client should not spend more than 40% of the gross income on monthly mortgage payment.
40%. So that is what you would highly recommend to the first home buyers or buyers, majority of the
Yes.
buyers, right?
Yeah, they should not spend more than 40% of the gross income on the
Correct.
mortgage. It means, like, for example, the
Right.
10,000, that is the monthly income.
Correct.
40% is 4,000. So 4,000 is the maximum limit that they should keep that money aside for mortgage payment.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Absolutely.
also that this is just for the knowledge of our clients.
Correct.
Keep 6 months emergency or contingency fund for unforeseen circumstances to avoid unfavorable consequences, so that
Oh,
you should not miss any mortgage payment.
it's a very important point for the first home buyers or the normal buyers, right? That actually connects me to the next question. Like, is that the most common mistakes that people make first, especially the first home buyers in Canada, Mr. Rakesh?
Yeah, a number of mistakes that I normally that first home buyer can occur. But I would like to say, like, some of the important points. This is very important, because the client should be aware about the services offered by your realtor or mortgage broker and other person connected with the real estate transactions, and choose
Right.
the right and licensed realtor who can guide you from the starting till the completion of the real estate transaction, even
Correct.
after that. And
Agree.
these days, everyone knows that the rental market is so strong here in Canada,
Yeah.
specifically if we talk about the British Columbia, Ontario, and Alberta. And if
Yes.
if you're living on rent, right?
Okay.
This is the one thing which is very important. If, for
Yeah.
example, that you are living on rent and compare the monthly rent payment and mortgage payment, it means that you are planning to buy home, and you think,
Correct.
like, I'm just paying $2,000. If in $2,000, if I can buy home, that would be the right decision. So at that time, what you should do, your realtor can guide you and give you
Absolutely.
the financial and comparative analysis for this purpose.
Oh, that is very important point, I must say.
And right, the most important thing, this is not the last, but it's last but not least, right? So that is having building inspection done before buying home to avoid the big unexpected fixed cost, and all
Oh,
check all the necessary items such as appliances, heating, means cooling and water system,
right.
and all these are working properly at the time of possession.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
True.
all these things. So sometimes people do mistakes, like the first
Correct.
home buyer, they do mistake without knowing eligibility. They jump into the market and searching from the big homes.
Oh,
They are eligible for the 2-bedroom house. They are looking for the 3-bedroom house,
exactly.
right? And they are asking from the realtor that I'm looking for detached home, right? But I
Correct.
have just only 5% down payment, right?
Hmm.
And but they are not in position to pay the mortgage
Exactly.
afterwards. Even they are not qualifying for that, because they don't have a purchasing power. It's a big mistake they do.
I know. I agree with that point. Absolutely. So that brings me to the next question. I hope you have finished your point, whatever that you wanted to make.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are the, what are some of the biggest trends in Canadian real estate right now?
Yeah, so hot. Canadian market is so hot,
It is
right?
always hot.
So we know the prices of the properties are very high,
Yeah,
right? Skyrocketing, right? And
exactly.
buying property is not in the reach of most of the people living in Canada.
Right.
And one thing just I would like to tell to all my friends and buyers, right?
Right.
There is a misconception in the mind of the people that the realtor are responsible for making property price high, which is not true.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen so many people like this myself.
Yeah, so they say like this is only because of the realtor, the prices of the properties are going down or up.
Exactly.
Yeah, the thing is that in realtor and the hand of realtor, nothing is there. I'm telling you
Exactly.
frankly, all this depends upon the economic, you can say forces, which is demand and supply.
Yeah.
To demand and supply of any product, not only the real estate property, but all the products and services that are there that
Right.
determine the price of everything. And we that even the client they don't know some of the important things. What is inflation and what is the monetary policy? They don't know about it one.
Yep. Yep.
So this is the duty of the realtor, just to educate a little bit to the client about what is going on in the market.
I
And
agree.
each and every person should be aware about the policies. Like there are normally two policies are there: fiscal policy and monetary policy, to control the supply of money in an economy.
Yes. True.
And all of us, we are aware about the fact that before 2 years, the Bank of Canada reduces the rate of interest to as low as less than 1.5%. So it means there
Wow.
was more supply of money in Canadian market.
Correct.
The Canadian market was flooded with money because
Wow.
of the low prices. So more money in the market, it means like more people had more purchasing power.
So,
More
quick question
purchasing
here
power.
in this point to add to it. I mean, was there any FDI also involved into it?
Uh,
Foreign direct investments
yeah,
in the real estate?
the foreign direct investments, it's a little bit, there is also a role of that,
Okay.
because if the foreign direct investments are there, the money is coming from the other part of the world and just coming to the here in the economy,
Right.
the money is there, that a lot of money the government is having. So what the
Correct.
government will do with the money, they will
Yep.
distribute that money to the investors. The investor will come and they take
Right.
money at a very low rate. The main thing is the rate of interest that was very low. Now what is
Yeah.
happening these days, right? I just want to put light on this.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
The purchasing power of the people, that was so high. It
Yes.
means people were having a lot of money in their hand. What they will do with that money? They will buy something. They will buy some property. They will buy some luxury items. So what happened? More demand. The demand has
Yes.
increased, but there was a
Exactly.
lesser supply.
Yeah.
The result was disaster. That was the high price of the all goods and services and properties as well, which caused inflation in the economy. Yeah, that was the big thing. Sometimes people don't know what is inflation, right?
Yes.
What is inflation? Is just in 1 minute I'm going to explain what is
Yeah.
inflation.
Yeah. Please. Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So inflation is what? This is the loss in the purchasing power over a period of time,
Agree.
right?
Correct.
If income does not increase at the same rate as that, you will not be able to buy same amount of grocery with the same amount of money. It's inflation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also for the investor, I'm telling you, right? For the investors. So inflation tells the investor that how much a rate of return on the investment need to make for them
Yeah.
to maintain the standard of living,
Correct.
right? But I can explain with one example.
Yes. Yes. Please.
Uh, let's say the bank saving or a fixed deposit rate is 4% per year, and
Yes.
inflation is 6% per year. It means that you're losing money by 2% every year.
Oh,
Yeah, this is, yes,
amazing.
definitely. You're losing money, right? And sometimes the people say, oh, recession has come in Canada, recession has come in the other part of the world. They don't know what is the meaning of recession, right?
Right.
So recession is what? That is, we can know that in Canada, the shortest recession was there in the month of March and April 2020. That
Yeah.
only
I
just,
think things are becoming normal these days now. What I
yeah,
have
no,
observed.
yes, yes, yeah, I'm coming to that point as well.
Okay.
Right.
Sure. Please.
Actually, due to the reduce in the economic activities, there will be reduce in the GDP, right? GDP
Yeah.
means a gross domestic product.
Yes.
When
Correct.
there is a negative, there are some technical points that some of the clients may not be able to understand, but I'm just trying to make aware of them that these things are really happening. They should have little knowledge about it, right?
Correct. I agree.
So when there is a negative GDP, right, of the 2 consecutive quarter, that is known as the recession.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and one thing is very, very important to control this recession. The nation use fiscal policies.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
so
is where
fiscal
it
policy.
comes.
Yeah, it's a very, very. I'm coming to that point that you were asking, right? How to
Sure.
control everything.
Yeah.
There is the taxation policy and the government spending that comes under the fiscal policy, and the monetary
Okay.
policy is also there. The
Right.
Bank of Canada use this monetary policy. It means it is in the hand of the Bank of Canada to adjust money supply to by changing the rate of interest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the how to control inflation. And now what happens? The Bank of Canada that increases uh, overnight rate, or you can say the
Oh,
policy rate to 4.5% today. I'm just talking about the current scenario. And the
okay.
prime rate is a 6.5%. So
Wow.
this of interest rate is there. It has increased from like 1.5% to 6.5%, too much,
Right.
right? Now, what is happening due to this? So mortgage qualifying rate reduced, or sorry, reached to the higher than 8%. So qualifying rate has just way higher due
My
to this
goodness.
fact that those people who are looking for buying home in Canada are
Yeah.
facing difficulties,
Okay.
especially for getting mortgage to buy their dream home. No doubt, inflation rate has come down from 8.1% last year to 4.3% this year. The last
Has
one
it
in
become
the
4.8 now?
yeah,
Because I heard it was about touching
4.3.
almost 8 o'clock. Sorry, 8%. In fact, more than
Yeah,
8%.
no. Yeah, so now it has come down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a
That's a good news
4.3,
actually for the home buyers.
This is the good news, but still there is a problem, I'm telling you. The
Oh, okay.
mortgage qualifying rate is so high even today, and
Oh,
people are facing too much trouble. Yeah.
understandable. That brings me to the next thing. Like, how does the Canadian real estate market is different from the other countries?
Yeah, so in Canada, the real estate market is totally different.
Mhm.
There are some important reasons. The first is a low housing supply, which
Yes.
cause a bidding war between the
Oh,
buyer
yes.
and that allows the seller to sell home for more than asking price. It's a bidding price. So
Exactly.
this process creates higher prices in the real estate market.
Okay.
The prices are so high. In spite of the high price, the
Mhm.
demand is also there, right?
Correct.
And why the demand is there, there is the reason behind. This is you can say only country in the world, or maybe one of the country in the world, which welcoming all the people from the world, maybe from
Right.
USA, from India, from Pakistan, from other, right? So
Correct.
they are just open their hands, right? Open their arms, like just welcoming everyone. So due to more immigrants coming to Canada every year,
Mhm.
there is a shortage also increasing. The supply is
Right.
already less, right? It's very
Yes.
difficult to meet demand and supplies these days. So this is what we can say. The Canadian real estate market is entirely
Yeah.
different from other part of the world.
Sure. Thank you so much for explaining that, Rakesh. The next question comes like, how do you determine the value of a home here in Canada?
Oh, very good question. Yeah. So
Thanks.
people ask like, I want to buy a property. I have just $500,000, and
Right.
I want to buy a 3-bedroom house. Well, not possible, right? Some people say, I have $1 million, right? I have like
Right.
10 lakh rupees, $10 lakh, sorry. So I want to buy a detached home. Even then, it's not possible these days.
Right.
So if we talk about what are the different factors that determine the value of homes in Canada, the first most important factor is the location.
Exactly.
So location of the property is really very, very important. For example, that if you're buying a property in Vancouver, the price will be different. You are buying property in the Surrey, that price will be different. Langley, that price will be different. So different location, different prices. It all depends
Which
on the
is the
density
hottest
of the people.
location?
Hottest location for the Punjabi community is we can say Surrey, and now it's Langley is the second one,
Okay.
right? And we can say Coquitlam, that is also very good.
Okay.
right? So this is for the Punjabi people. Otherwise, if we compare these
Basically,
prices,
Indians you are saying.
Vancouver, yeah. So in Vancouver, the properties prices are so high.
Okay. Yeah,
Vancouver,
absolutely.
Burnaby,
Because it's a
yeah,
downtown, right?
is it downtown, right? And this is the first is the location, and second, I can just I want to add a little more in the location. Similar kind of property that you can buy here with a very high price, let's say the 1.6 million, and the same property, same
1.6
features,
million.
same size. Yeah, it's the same detached home. I'm talking about detached home with
Right.
one basement, right?
Correct.
Around 7,000 square feet. This is the average price normally that we find in Surrey or Langley, so 1.5,
Right.
1.6 million.
Oh,
Exactly the same property that a buyer can buy in Alberta, right? In Calgary,
right.
maybe Kelowna here in
Correct.
less than a million, right?
Oh,
Exactly
okay.
the same. Yeah, I'm talking about the location, right? So why
Hmm.
there is a difference between that? And the
Exactly.
second factor is the
Size.
size of the
Okay.
yeah. So if the size of the property is let's say like around less than 300,000 300,000 square feet, right? The
Correct.
price will be different. If the lot size is more,
Hmm.
then prices of the property will be high,
Correct.
definitely, right? Because the value will increase only
Right.
based upon the land. The value of
Correct.
the land will increase, not the appreciation, right?
Yeah.
And
So
view of the home, yes.
sorry, my bad. Just looking at the time, so wanted to cover up rest of the questions. So how would we make sure, being a home, home buyers, that how can we get the best details and the deals in the Canadian real estate market? I'm sure you are one of the best channels to reach out.
Yeah. So best deal means a number of factors, right? So if the first home buyer want to get the best deal in today's real estate market, sometime it may be very difficult, right? But all it depends upon the location, and if the property is generating the positive cash flow, that it means in the form of rental income, that will be
Right.
really good.
Okay.
And if the locations where the appreciation rate, I'm talking about appreciation of the property, if the
Right.
client is going to buy property today, after a couple of years, the rate, the property rate, property price, the market value of the property go up, it means that appreciation rate. So
Correct.
appreciation rate, it also depends upon the type of property and
Right.
also depend location as well. And third one is the affordability. If, for example, that if one of person, like if, for example, I can afford to buy detached home, that definitely I should go to buy the
Of
detached
course.
home instead of the townhouse or something else,
Right.
right? And all depends upon the person to persons, like, and the gross income.
Right. I agree. So that brings me to the next question. Like, what are the most common types of homes which people are really interested to buy in normally?
Yeah, very good question. Like, so
Thanks
there
once
are
again.
different kind of homes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, we can start with, I'm just going to correlate this question with the new immigrants that coming in Canada. Will be
Right.
okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So for example, that some newcomers comes in Canada and want to buy, the first of all, they go from, they just move from the basement, right? From the
Right.
rental unit, they
Yes.
enter into the condos, right?
Correct.
And condos means that we can say that a small apartment, a low-rise building. Normally,
Right.
low-rise buildings are wooden framed and high-rise buildings are concrete built, right?
Correct.
So the prices that will be around, it all depends upon the number of rooms. Like for one bedroom, maybe like $400,000 to $500,000, and
Yeah.
for if we say the two bedroom, that may be 550 to maybe the 600 or $700,000.
Correct.
And after a couple of years, then just move from the condo to the townhouse. That
Okay.
starting price you can say for the three bedroom or two bedroom, that will be around $700,000 and can
Oh,
reach up to like 1.2 million.
my goodness. So it is like the stepwise, decisions that you are suggesting to the customer. I mean, the home buyers, basically, right?
Yeah, so that I'm just going to explain the types of home along with aligning with the newcomers that come in.
And
And then
capacity of buying, that they have.
capacity increase, capacity also increase
Correct.
year by year, right? When
Correct.
the people live here, then third type of home is the duplex type of home. It is just
Duplex.
like a
Okay.
shared wall. The wall will
Okay.
be shared. The big lot is divided into two.
Okay.
and the builder created two houses, right?
Okay.
So, but the wall will be shared. That is known as duplex house.
Okay.
Normal average price of the duplex house is 1.2 million to 1.4 million, right?
Okay.
But also it depends on the demand and supply. It may go
Absolutely.
up or down. And the ultimate is the detached home, right?
Yes.
So detached home, like this is the dream, right? Last,
Yeah.
everyone want to go
Exactly.
to the detached home, right? And 1.3 million to
1.3 million.
2.5 million.
And that is the
Yeah.
starting, right?
Yeah, this is the starting point.
My goodness.
Sorry, but also it depends on the number of rooms and basement, right?
Right.
And it can go up to like 2.5 million, even more. It all
Correct.
depends on the number of factors.
Right.
It also depends on the number of factors, like
Okay.
you can say locations,
Yes.
lot size,
Yes.
even zoning. Zoning, there may be number of
Oh,
zoning, right?
zoning. Correct.
Maybe a commercial zoning, a residential zoning, right? Or maybe RF zoning are there, right? RF 13, there, RF 9 is there, right?
So what is RF?
Residential, right? So residential zoning. It's
Okay,
a code,
residential
right?
zoning.
Yeah, it's a coding. So maybe
Okay.
some RF 9C, there may be coach house in that, right?
Right.
So
Right.
split level, age of the property, nearby facilities, views, income generated properties are there, that the
Correct.
price will be more high.
Right.
And how many basements are there in that home? All depends.
Okay. A more interesting part. The next question, which is the second last question here. So what are the most common challenges that Canadian home buyers face normally, day in, day out, that you might have experienced?
Frankly speaking, the first home buyer are struggling.
Oh.
They are struggling. They were struggling, and just this is the process. I don't know. Like they will be struggling if the government is not going to take serious steps. No doubt, the government has taken most of the steps, like taking most of the steps
Right.
for helping to the first home buyers. They are taking, no doubt.
Right.
Most like a first home buyer advantage plan favorable to the newcomers, right?
Right.
They are coming up on the daily
Correct.
basis. And for the challenges, I say like down payment. First of all, that the client should have a proper down payment,
Right.
right? So down payment should be in the bank for the 90 days minimum, but people are not aware about it, right? They
Okay.
say, I need to get money from India,
Right.
right? I can get it money from India. Just go and show me some houses. How I will be showing that houses tomorrow?
Exactly.
If I say this house is good and okay, you are ready to buy, you have money, but that money is not in Canada. Money is somewhere
Yeah.
else, in another country, in your home country.
Right.
And you will get that money no doubt within 2-3 days, but that is not going to work,
Agree.
right?
Agree with that.
You have to show some proofs as well. Second
Yes.
is the eligibility. Whether you're eligible to buy or not, right? One person, it is very difficult to buy. At least there should be 2%, maybe husband, wife, brother, sister, brother, like
In the
at
family
least 2.
itself, you mean to say, right?
In the family, right? And third one, that also one of the problem that a first home buyer or a Canadian home buyer are facing, that is the inflation. Too much inflation is there.
Yes.
No doubt lies controlling, and slowly it's coming down.
That is
And
actually breaking the dreams of so many home buyers.
Yes. And the most important thing, the biggest challenge and the problem is
Mhm.
the lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. That is why I'm
Yes.
interviewing you today.
Yeah,
Spread the
so they have
knowledge.
lack of. Some people say, normally some client ask me, sir, we thought that a 5% of the property and 5%, we have 5%. I have $35,000 and
Okay.
I want to buy a property for $700,000. I'm eligible? I say, no, you are not. You don't have enough money. He said, like $7,000, the 5% of $7,000 is $35,000. I say,
Exactly.
no, I'm just going to break into parts. The first is how we can calculate the minimum, like for the first home buyer, 5% eligibility. How we can know that, right? The first is on first $500,000, 5%. That will be 25,000.
Right.
Rest of the money means $200,000, right? That is 10%. Then we have to calculate in this way: 10% of the remaining amount, right? In excess of 500,000. That is 200. So 200,000, 10% is 20,000. Total will be 45,000, not 35,000. So people are not aware about
Simple calculations.
Simple calculation. And second, they say, okay, I want to buy it. And later on they ask, so why the mortgage insurance? I don't want a mortgage insurance.
Right.
The thing is that that they should know if you are buying a property here in Canada and you are ready to pay 5% of the total amount as the down payment, you
Correct.
have to have mortgage insurance.
Right.
And for the mortgage insurance, that there are the big three mortgage insurance corporation, right?
Mhm.
The first one is CMHC, that is a Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation.
Okay.
Genworth Financial Canada, this is the second one. The third one is Canada Guarantee Mortgage Company.
Mhm.
So from any one from these, that you can take your mortgage done.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Julka, for answering all the important questions with respect to our first home buyers or maybe home buyers. Now, the another important question which I had into my mind was, what are the most important things to consider when selling a home in Canada, or if you want to upgrade from condo to a upper class kind of home in Canada? So, what will be your suggestions to it?
Very good question, right? So I would like to explain this these questions,
Sure.
like the people that who are just going to sell their home because they are not a first home buyer, right? So
Correct.
they will be the second home buyer. So
Yes.
the first home buyer, they buy, that will be the main residential, the primary residential.
Right.
If the person want to buy another one, that will be the investment property.
Right.
So there are two things. For the first home buyer, that no doubt that they will just can buy the property by giving 5% of the down payment. But the second one, not at 5%, at least 20% of the total property they have to pay for the down payment.
Agree with that.
All of, yeah, provided that they have eligibility criteria, they have a sufficient income and everything.
Right.
Right. So I'm just going to explain each and everything like
Sure.
step by step. Right?
Correct.
So your listing agent, right? So listing agent is the agent that is seller agent.
Okay.
Can explain you about his or her marketing plan
Okay.
and strategies to sell your property at the best price. This
Okay.
is a very, very important. And the realtor will guide you and suggest the range between the market survey and the recent sale nearby your area. Accordingly, they will set the prices for you for the listing, right? For the selling price.
Right.
And once you choose a realtor to sell your home, you will be required to sign a listing contract, right? Also, commonly referred to as the listing agreement.
Okay.
And before you sign the listing agreement, it is very important and imperative to discuss the marketing plan with your realtor and clarify the terminology used in the contract by asking some questions. This is very
Interesting. Very important.
And also like keep sellers in their mind that price of the property is determined by the market forces such as demand and supply. So it should be you can say it should neither be too high nor too low.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes like home seller have more expectations.
Correct.
Right? So that may be definitely they should consider these things in their mind. If
Right.
you do not want to include any item in the selling price, for example, you are selling home, you don't want to include some of the item in the selling price, and tell your realtor before
Right.
setting up the listing agreement in the initial meeting to avoid any problems or issues later on.
Right.
And also, I would like to say that that for the sellers, right? For the seller, that he or that should be aware of that once all sellers have signed, means seller may be a wife or a husband or maybe 2-3 partners or family members.
Okay.
All they have just signed that contract, and that would be legal binding on both of the parties to complete the transactions as per date and time mentioned thereon. And
That is interesting.
after which the offer will become null and void, means new offer must be created.
Okay. That's a
Yes.
very, very deep point and should be understandable very easily. I mean, when it comes to the legality of any property and wherein there are multiple partners who will own that property. Is that what I understood? Is that
Yes,
correct?
like so once you have signed the agreement, and once like if you there is a contract of purchase and sale, if you sign it and
Right.
seller later on say I don't want to sell. No, it's
Oh,
not. Yeah. Sometimes the people are confused that
correct.
I put signature digitally. I did not put sign by hand.
Okay.
It's the same thing in the law.
Oh,
Yeah, in the law here, in the rules are there. If you are just giving digital signature, so through number of software like Authentic Sign, that will be exactly the same thing. And
okay.
this thing, what I've explained, is also mentioned in the contract of purchase and sale as well, just to
Mhm.
intimate the client, seller client and buyer client both, that they
Okay.
are just putting signature digitally is exactly the same thing as they have the thumb impression on the paper.
Very, very interesting. I wasn't aware myself about this one. Is there
And also,
any other point, Mr. Rakesh,
yeah,
that you would like to add? Yeah, please go ahead.
I
Continue.
have two, three more points I would
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to. So the thing is that uh, for the seller, I would like to say don't hesitate. Don't hesitate if there is any minor or major defects in the property
Okay.
or any material information from the realtor. Tell to your realtor in regards to
Oh,
the subject.
okay.
Frankly, like
Interesting.
if there is a problem, something there is a water leakage or something, tell to the realtor frankly. Later on,
Right.
if you find it, and there will be bad and worst consequences for the listing agent as well and for the
Okay.
seller as well, both.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I mean, I also was not, really having the knowledge about it before. Thank you so much for sharing it.
And one more point, like always, I'm telling to the seller, keep yourself up to date regarding the current market conditions and your neighborhood. And the
Okay.
realtor uses CMA, that is comparable market analysis tool, to guide sellers with the understanding marketing value or market value of the property and setting up the right price.
Okay.
And also there is the one Schedule A, right? Check the Schedule A. What is
Mhm.
Schedule A? That which enlists the most of the activities expected to be performed by the realtor. That
Right.
will come from the Schedule A, right? And at the end, when the transaction is going to complete, it means the possession date. So
Oh,
possession date. What is the possession date? Possession is the date the new owner can take possession of the property, and completion date is the date when the money changes hand and title is transferred to the buyer's name. And so
oh,
keep in the mind, you need to arrange a new place for yourself before completing that date. This
interesting.
is a suggestion for the seller, right?
Okay.
If you receive more than one offer, for example, right, this is for the seller as well.
Right.
If for example that we have received more than one offer, it is important to look in detail with each offer,
Mhm.
by the seller as well, and
Okay.
your realtor, as your realtor both, and that both of them that they will review the offers that with you, but the decision will be totally on the sellers.
Okay. So
Yeah.
seller will have to decide about it. Is that
The
what you're
seller
saying?
here, the realtor is not going to decide. Realtor is going to help,
Seller is the
right?
king then.
Whether, yeah, and whether on the buyer side or on the seller side, mean on the listing realtor or the buying selling realtor, right? So
Right.
now at the end, when you sell a home before the mortgage term expire, this is the most important point. The
Oh,
people
okay.
forget about. For example, that one want to sell the property, right, and want to buy the another one.
Correct.
And in this case, when you're going to sell the property hmm, before the mortgage term, the previous mortgage term expires, you need to pay mortgage repayment penalty to the lender.
Oh my goodness. And that will be huge, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it may be, see, it may be thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And mostly it all depends upon the if you are a fixed rate of interest or a variable rate of interest. It all
Okay.
depends upon that. If this is the variable, 3 months penalty. If it is a fixed, no need to sell.
I
No need to
know.
sell. If you sell it, the penalty will be the remaining amount of the term. And that will be huge. Maybe around $100,000. No need to sell.
My goodness.
That is
That's
the case of
amazing.
a fixed mortgage, right? So all these things that will be considered, and all these will be kind of expenses or such as penalties
Right.
for the repayment of mortgage, buyer and seller commissions they have to give,
Right.
right? Seller,
Yes.
and closing cost, legal cost, improvement cost. If there is a repair cost, that also be suffered by the seller, right?
Okay.
And even the
Yeah.
staging expenses.
And these are like
If-
hidden costs, right? Which you will not be aware about.
Yeah, so there are a lot of hidden costs. It's not a hidden actually, and but most of the people they don't bother about it. They consider later on, oh, this was the expenses that my realtor did not tell me.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
This is the very big problem.
I know.
Uh,
I know.
so-
Yeah, please continue.
yeah. So the thing is that choosing to work with a trustworthy, knowledgeable, and highly in responsiveness realtor is the right move.
Okay.
If you're looking for the realtor who doesn't have knowledge, right?
Exactly.
Like it doesn't know about the finance and anything.
Right.
It doesn't know about the mortgages. It
Yeah.
doesn't know about what is the economic trend, what is the inflation, deflation, the rate of interest,
Correct. Correct.
and what is the effect of all these, right? If those things they are not familiar, if the realtor is not familiar about all these things, that is not knowledgeable. Second,
Yeah.
the most important is the trust, honesty, loyalty,
Exactly.
right? Trustworthiness,
Trustworthiness.
reliability.
That is what I'm about to say. That yeah, that is very important because there are so many people in the market, those who want to invest into the property, but they're not able to find a trustworthy consultants, those who can help them in their real estate, right?
Yeah, and like the other thing is the responsiveness. If the
Exactly.
realtor is less in a responsiveness and giving the answer of the questions later on after a couple of days, then your client, you will be losing the client.
Yeah,
And
you
client
may
will
lose
lose
it.
the trust. The client will lose the interest.
Exactly.
It is just like a doctor and a patient.
Yes.
Right? If you have a stomach ache and you're telling to the doctor, I have a stomach ache, acute pain, that
Yeah.
I'm not able to tolerate that one. So can you help me? The doctor should immediately take some action. If doctor say,
Yes.
okay, and ignoring all these things, that is the big problem. That the
Absolutely.
client will never go to the doctor again. In the same case, like the
Yes.
doctor, here the client and the realtor.
Right.
So they consider, so what the thing is that the people here as like the buyer or the seller. For the buyer, they are just spending their whole life earned money, and
Yes.
they are
Exactly.
trusting on the one person name
Yes.
is it.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that a realtor will not be in a trouble, right?
Yes.
So if anything goes wrong, then the realtor will be responsible. These things,
Absolutely.
yeah, these things that even the buyer doesn't know, right? If they know that, like they think like the seller are earning a lot. If the
Yes.
more earning is there, the more risk is there.
Exactly.
Right?
That is what I was about to say, that there is a
Yeah.
risk also involved into it.
And for one property that you have to show like number of property, like for one client, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It may take like 6 months, it may take
Yes.
1 year. And
Absolutely.
after then like something bad thing is also happening in the market, like other realtors maybe, right? So now your client may go to the another realtor because there may be a chances that you may not be providing the right services to the client.
And
So
100% agree.
client may feel something bad or may not have trust on you. So
Yes.
trustworthy and long-term relationship is the key to success in the selling profession. And
Yes.
realtor is also the professional selling profession here.
Absolutely. I 100% agree is, whatever you have said, Mr. Julka. Thank you so very much. I hope you have covered all those important pointers on the questions which I asked. Now, last but not the least, this is my personal question, which I wanted to check from you. What is the, best location here in Canada in today's market scenario that you will recommend to the home buyers or people, those who are looking to migrate to Canada and they're still unsure which location they should go and invest their hard-earned money?
Yeah. So as far as location is concerned, like it all depends on the community. Like some people they just would like to live in the same community. right? For the Punjabi people, we can say that Surrey is the best, and Richmond is for the Chinese people, right? So they can just go there and they feel more comfortable, right?
Right.
So, and one thing more, like someone say in Alberta, like maybe in Calgary or Edmonton, the prices are very less.
Correct.
And I have observed and experienced in this case
Right.
that the ones that people entered in Canada in
Right.
first place, right? First place, they get used to living in that place.
Oh, okay.
Irrespective from the weather constraints. You're getting
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Irrespective from the weather constraints. In Alberta, the weather is a little harsh, right? More time there is a snow, and there is a cool period, right? So in
Yeah,
that,
temperature goes very, very
temperature
down,
is
right?
different, right?
Minus 40 something.
Yes, but when the people just started living there, they will get used to, right?
Exactly.
But here in BC, British Columbia, so why this is called BBC is the beautiful British Columbia because of
Yes.
the weather, right? If
Yes.
if from another part of the world the people come to this place, right, and they just start getting used to this environment,
Yeah.
they cannot go to the another place. It will be very
Correct.
difficult for them to adjust. But for
Right.
them, they were looking at the other side, or in Alberta, how people are living. But in go to Alberta and ask to the people, they will say, we are used to with this environment. We don't have any problem. We don't
Right.
want to go to, you know, like British Columbia or maybe Surrey in Coquitlam or these places because
Right.
the prices of the property are so high.
Correct.
And there is also interstate migrations as well because
Correct.
of the prices
Correct.
change.
100% agree. Thank you so very much for your precious time, Mr. Zulka, today that you have given us. I hope our viewers would have got the the best knowledge from the real estate market standpoint from you. Still, if they would have any questions related to the property market, real estate locations, things like that, finances also, so please reach out to us. Mention in the comments below whatever that you would have your questions. I will leave the contact details, like the email address of Mr. Zulka, so that if you would have any queries, or in fact, if you're interested in something looking here around, you can reach out to him as well. I hope I can give you details.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nitish.
Thank you so very much. And bye-bye. See you.
Okay, bye.